Okay, y'all, I'm back here to show you how to set up the Serato-based Pioneer DDJ-1000SRT. Like I said, this is my big controller. It's a different kind of setup than the turntables that we set up before, and different than my smaller controller, which I'll show you how to set up later. But it's basically the same as what I'm doing today. So if you have a smaller controller, it's really more of a just plug in the USB and probably RCAs, which I also can show you here, into your sound system. So here we go. Starting with nothing, make sure you got a table. I don't suggest doing this on the floor unless you have to. You can get this from Amazon for cheap, probably from Walmart. It's just a lifetime 4-foot table. It's adjustable, so I can go higher or I can go lower. Controller's over here. I'm gonna pull that out. Now my controller is in a Lay's light and sound equipment case. It's nice and lightweight. It's got the wheels. Can't spin it like that, but and the little feet. And then I like that the 4 clasps are all on the end, not on the front and the back. And take that off like that. If you don't have a case for your equipment, highly suggest having a case for your equipment. With my controller, I got a nice little shelf here. Usually for me, at this point, I set up my laptop next. So that's what I'm gonna do just a second. Okay, so next thing is to set up the laptop. I have a MacBook Pro circa 2021. I already had my headphones plugged into it, so I brought those up with it. Plug the headphones into the headphone jack. I usually like to get my levels right. And then I need a power strip. For me personally, I like to run the cables down and under the controller so that I don't really have to worry about those being in my way, as well as running the USB out of the controller. Inside here, I got power cable. Plug that in just right there. And then I store my power cable in the case. So I'm just gonna slide that down and plug that in to the power strip. Keep my headphones plugged in, and then laptop power cable. Plug that in, and I will slide that under the controller. And I like to go through the little hole that they provide and into the laptop. That side or that side. And I usually decide that on where I want my hard drives to go. And I plug these into the power strip. So now, check your power. Turn it on. If it doesn't come on, power strip might not be on. Now we have power because I see a little blue light. So I turn this on. You got light. Now for the 2021 and newer laptops, for the MacBook at least, I don't know about for Windows, but they usually only have this USB-C, so you're gonna need an adapter, which I have a couple different types of them, so I can have multiple hard drives plugged in. But since you're over here, put my hard drives here. So this is an AU-key adapter. It's got the 2 USB-Cs, and on the other side, it's got 2 USBs, another 2 USB-Cs, a micro SD, and a mini SD reader. And so I plug that in there. And then because I use 2 hard drives, I use this splitter in there. Now, if I'm plugging another USB or an HDMI, and this also has another USB-C in it, I'll go and plug that in this side. And usually I do that when I'm DJing videos, like with the screen that you see behind me. But today we're not doing that. Today we're just doing setup. Next, we're gonna plug in our hard drives and wake the laptop up. I like to keep them in a bag, just to protect a little bit more against water and damage. I usually like to plug in my hard drives before I start up Serato, just so that at the very least my laptop can begin to read the drives before I start Serato, so that when Serato loads the library in the playlist, that it's already got sort of a head start. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm not a super techie person, but I do know that loading information takes a lot of time, so I try to let it take the time it needs. Then when I'm done with those power cables, I like to get my headphone cable in order, put that on. Got something reading. Don't need this, so I'll put that back. Also do not need this bag, so I'll put that in my bag. And I usually put my bag with the case that's over there. And as soon as this other drive pops up, we will open Serato. So the last thing I'm gonna do is to plug in my USB. So inside here, plug the USB-A side into your controller. And then I like to feed that through the hole that they provide as well, just to keep it a little streamlined. And then I plug that into my AU key. My golden key. And while that's reading that drive, I'll turn things up, turn things down, turn mic off if that's been turned on. I might turn the cue on so I can hear through the headphones when it's ready. But that's basically it. Outside of that, you're gonna start up your Serato DJ Pro, and just like that, you got it going. Now, the other thing you need to do is plug this system into your sound system. Now, on the back side of this, there are a number of different outputs and inputs. So I usually use Master 1, which is XLR to XLR, or you can find adapting cables. You can also do the Master Out, which is RCA. That would be generic and ubiquitous, universal to most controllers. My small controller does that. And then if you want boot, that has 1/4 inch out. You also have some ins that are all RCA. So if I wanted to have a controller, another controller plugged in, like a friend's DJ, if I want to have a different type of hardware plugged in, these RCAs are what I would use to plug that in. Here's the USB that's plugged in to my computer. You have a mic input, which I'll use. You can do XLR or 1/4 inch, and there's your power. While that continues to set up, got my mic. I would like to plug this in to the 1/4 inch because I have that option. And I can use my XLRs to plug in to the main system. And if you were watching the other video, you know that I plug into a mixer that then plugs into my speakers. And that sound system looks like this. So, plugging in the XLRs into my mixer. So, left and right. Then I'll give that some power. Turn it up. And there you have it. That's all you need. I'm going to settle this mic out. Turn this up. Turn the volume up on these. Just a little bit. We don't need a ton of space because I can make it pretty loud on the board. And we'll throw some music in there that is not licensed. Then you just pick a song. There you go. All set up. Serato. I can throw that over here too. That's the setup for the Pioneer DDJ-1000 SRT Performance DJ Controller. And we'll be back with the Pioneer DDJ SB2 controller. That's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier on the pocket, lower price point, but gets you just as much performance as this right here. See you in the next one.